Hi, Janine. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. It's such a special moment for me to have this time with you and to be able to see you face to face here.
I know after all this time, this is wonderful.
I know. So tell everybody just a little bit about who you are.
I just turned 56 on Friday, and I am originally from Vancouver, Canada, but I married my American husband about 25 years ago and moved to North Carolina. I'm a teacher by training, elementary school teacher by training, but I now own my own business and work out of my house, which
Yeah,
is really nice. I have two boys, a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old. My 20-year-old has autism, so that's partly why I started a business, was so that I could be home and available for him. And I have three dogs and two cats and chickens, and just having fun living my life.
that's great. Lots of things to look after. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, maybe too many things to look after
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what your struggles were like with your body before we started working together?
Um, I started dieting when I was about 9 years old. That's when I started putting on weight. We moved to a different city and I had no friends and I didn't spend as much time outside because we lived in the city downtown and it's just a scary place to be. So I started eating to compensate and not getting the same kind of exercise and activity that I'd had before. And so I started putting on weight and I became the chubby kid at school. Um, and that stuck with me for probably about 10 or 11 years until I hit my 20s and finally started to lose the weight and uh, get into a smaller size body. Um, then I got married and had kids, and my body started changing again, and I couldn't control it anymore. And it wasn't the healthiest way I was trying to control it in the past. So I couldn't do that in my 30s and 40s as a mom. Uh, it just something in me changed, and so I started to let myself get bigger, and it got to the point where I got bigger than I'd ever thought I would get. Um, so and just that and the whole yo-yoing thing. I spent those 45 years punishing myself and trying to lose weight, and then gaining the weight and hating myself again, and it was just that yo-yoing thing was the probably the worst experience, was just feeling like a failure and never being able to maintain one or the other. I couldn't stay big and I couldn't stay small, and I hated myself for both.
Mm, yeah. And so what happened after that?
Um, I decided to have weight loss surgery, and I spent a year in a pre-weight loss surgery program. They required us to lose a certain percentage of our body fat, and I was able to do that. I was very strict with my diet, starved myself, and finally reached that point where they said, "Okay, you're a go," and they greenlit the surgery. Um, and I had one procedure, and a year later, I did lose a significant amount of weight, but I started to have complications with that surgery. So they said, well, we better take you in and revise you and do the other surgery, a different type of surgery, bypass surgery. So that's what happened a year later. And it did cure the complications. And I thought it would also mean that I would never be big again.
Mhm.
But about 6 months, 7 months after that surgery, I started to find myself hungrier than I had been. And I just wasn't in that emotional place that I needed to be, I thought, to maintain my weight. So I was eating for emotional reasons, or at least I thought they were emotional reasons. And the truth of the matter was I was just starving. I'd be eating 400 to 800 calories a day for a year and a half, and I was mentally and physically starving for food. So I started to gain the weight, and that was a horrible, horrible feeling after going through 2 surgeries, 2 weight loss surgeries, and the recovery of that. I just felt like I was a lost cause,
Mm.
and I hated myself. I was so ashamed. Oh, the shame was terrible. So, and then it was at about that point that I saw my sister mentioned something about you. My sister's a psychologist in Vancouver, and she had seen something that you had done, and she said, "Why don't you contact this lady?"
Oh, wow, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah. Um, and so you had put out, I forget what it was called, but it was like anybody could sign up, and it was about an hour long, and you talked a little bit about this journey and
Mhm.
this program that you offer. And I really loved the sound of it, but I thought, this isn't going to work for me because nothing has worked for me. These surgeries didn't work for me, and a lifetime of dieting didn't work for me. So I don't think this program is going to work for me. But I was so desperate that I reached out to you, and you kind of said, well, I can't make any promises, but I think this might be a great fit, that you might get some things out of this program. And so I took a chance and dove in, and here we are.
I remember that. I remember, yeah, because I would never promise anything.
Right,
Um, I think, and I remember saying, like, if after 4 weeks, like, it's not the
right,
fit, like, that's, you can have your money back and it's totally
right,
fine. I
right.
always want to do what's best for you, but I find it amazing that at that point you did take that take that chance, because hearing your story now, like, you'd been through so much, it's really hard to kind of say, like, okay, I'm going to put that, like, that weight loss journey had been sort of your focus for, decades, like 4+
Right,
decades, to say,
right.
okay, I'm going to put that down. Like, I imagine there must have been a lot of fear around that.
Y- Yeah, it was fear of failing at something again, and fear of not knowing exactly what it would require of me. Having been through that starvation for so long, I was afraid that there was going to be some emotional component that I just couldn't live up to. And I remember telling my husband, I said, I've been through these surgeries and all these years of suffering. And not to sound dramatic, but I mean, it really was suffering to constantly starve. And I said, I know it's something I have to try,
Hmm.
and there were some barriers. I thought that I can't do this. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the time to put into myself. And then I just thought, that's ridiculous. I do have time. I have to make time, and I just have to go for it. So,
Yeah. And so what were some of the things that really helped you along the way?
uh, I think a big thing for me was the whole doppelganger concept.
Hmm. Yeah, like your inner critic.
Yeah, I had been that 12-year-old girl, that 10-year-old girl who hated herself my whole adult life.
Hmm.
And so coming to recognize that was really a pivotal moment. And I realized I'm not that 10 or 12-year-old girl anymore. I'm a grown woman, and I can take care of myself, and I can be compassionate with myself. And so that was huge, because there was also mixed in with that girl were those mean girls in middle school who made fun of my weight and who treated me a little differently because I was in a chubby body. And um, so they were part of that doppelganger, feeling afraid and feeling that self-loathing. And I'm ironically still friends with those girls to this day,
Mm.
but they've changed and they've grown up, and I quite like them now. And I realized, with my doppelganger, if I can like them, I should be able to like me.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a huge thing, was just recognizing that I don't have to be that person anymore inside. And um, another thing that was really helpful was the big should, as I always felt like I should be thinner, I should be littler, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't do that. Um, and I just realized, if I had 6 weeks left to live, would I do the things that I should do, or would I do the things that really matter to me, like being with my family, being with my kids, enjoying my pets, enjoying life, and eating the things that I had not let myself eat, and just enjoying life, enjoying the moments. So that was also another pivotal sort of part of the program for me, was the big should dump, getting
Mhm.
rid of those shoulds.
Yeah. I really like how you framed it up there, though, in terms of like if I had 6 weeks left to live, would I do my shoulds or would I do, the things I want to do? And I feel like
Mm,
that's a helpful additional layer to that
right,
exercise and that perspective. That's really good.
right. Well, and it kind of played off with that other part of the program where you had us look at what things are more important to you than your body.
Hmm.
And again, it was like, my children are more important to me. My husband is more important to me. I'm more important to me than my body. So,
Yeah, beautiful. And so are there any specific things that you've noticed change for you, like in terms of how you feel in your body?
yeah, I wasn't going to say this, but I got angry. I got, I feel angry that I wasted all of these years. You know, if I can say, fucking pissed off at the world for having this mentality, and at myself even a little bit for falling for it. And that that's been a really liberating sort of change to go through. um and I it's helped me to feel more comfortable with myself, because I just sort of feel like, well, to hell with everybody. I don't care anymore. I'm in a bigger body, and that's the way it is. And I'm not going to try to hide it anymore, and I'm not going to hate myself for it. So I don't know, I've kind of lost track of whether that answers your question or not.
Yeah, well, I think it absolutely does. Were there any other like highlight moments for you or things that you were able to kind of do or experience that um stand out to you?
You had us do something daring, and that daring thing that I chose to do was to wear a shirt that didn't cover my stomach. I have always worn bigger shirts, longer shirts, trying to hide my butt and my stomach, because those are two parts of my body that I had not appreciated. And the the first time that I wore a shirt that showed my belly, I thought, I'm going to take a picture of myself. And not only did I take a picture of myself, which was kind of horrifying because I don't like seeing pictures of myself typically, but I then posted that picture of myself on my Facebook page. And nobody really said anything. Nobody, except, "Oh, look at you. You look beautiful." But nobody said, "Oh my God, your stomach."
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
what I was so afraid of. So that daring thing kind of changed me, feeling like I don't need to hide my body. I'm not fooling anyone anyways. You can tell I still have a bigger butt and a bigger stomach. So I might as well wear things that look flattering, as opposed to hiding myself.
Hmm.
So that was a pivotal moment as well.
Yeah, and I feel like if you don't mind me sharing this, I can always cut it if you do. But I feel like you're still kind of doing that now because I remember it was maybe about a month ago or so that you posted a picture of yourself in our group and just saying that you let your husband take a picture of you. I think it was, if I'm
Yeah,
recalling
yeah,
that correctly.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
great.
So go ahead.
Oh, no, I was letting you finish your thought there.
I might be rambling at this point. So
No, that's okay. So what does it feel like now to be in this place where you feel like you're in a better position with your relationship with your body?
it's really freeing. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I feel happy and sunshine all the time. I still
Mm,
sometimes feel insecurities, and I still sometimes think, oh, it would be nice to be in a smaller body. But overall, I don't waste time worrying about what other people are thinking of me for the most part. And I don't waste time worrying about what I think of me.
mhm.
I'm less critical, I'm less harsh, I'm more self compassionate. Um, and I just feel this liberation finally of what's really important is how I feel and not how I look. And
Wow.
of course, we all want to look nice or we all want to look our best but I don't have preconceived notions now of what that should be. This is what it is.
Yeah. Amazing. When you
Yeah.
think back, like when you know, back to I can't remember when it was that you started, whether it was like a year and a half ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was about a year and a half ago.
When you did send me that email, if you think back to like yourself then, would you believe where you've gotten? I'm just
No.
curious.
No, and that was one of the other things that really floored me was you had us do an inventory of how we were feeling and what we felt about this and thought about that and I scored it in the beginning and I thought, yeah, that seems about right. I don't feel very good about myself. And then at the end of the program, 3 months later, 4 months later, when I did the inventory again, I was shocked to see. And I thought I was being very honest with my answers. Um, but I was shocked to see, wow, I really do feel better. I really do think differently. I have a new framework and I have a new mantra for myself, which is diets don't work. And I'm not wasting another minute of my life dieting and starving myself and feeling lousy about how I look. I just want to live my life. And that's that's where I am now. So
Amazing. I love it. No, I mean it's been so great to witness you go through that change and like I said when you first reached out, I was like, I think that we can work together and there will be
yeah.
elements of this that are helpful. And if not, then, that's okay. We can
And it
cut
and it
ties.
was. It
Yeah.
was so helpful. And it was the hardest work I think I've ever done on myself in my life.
And
But it
that's what
was
I
so
wanted.
worth it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say is that like you put in a lot into this and I've seen you put a lot into it um and really worked on, challenging these beliefs and feeling the emotions and going through the ups and downs. And I think that that's something really to be proud of because the
Yeah.
commitment um showing up for yourself and being like, I am gonna really do this work because I I am worthy of this. um it's not easy, and so I think it takes a lot of courage, especially knowing what you had been through coming into this.
Mhm. Mhm.
um Takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of determination, and yeah, it's so great to see where you are now. And I feel like you're such a champion for the other people in the group now, which is like so amazing. I love that you play that role.
Well, thank you. I just see myself, my past self, in a lot of the things that other people say and worry about. And, I just want to reach through and give them a hug. And, and I think it should be said that, the 3 month program or however long people spend doing the actual work isn't the end of it. You keep going and you keep having to revisit. Like I've looked back at the notes and thought, oh, yeah, I've kind of forgotten about that, and,
Hmm.
you know, I just keep going. It takes constant work to get over this diet mentality and this diet culture. You've got to be on your toes all the time because you're bombarded with those messages all the time, and so
Yeah.
it's not the end of the program, it's the beginning of your life.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. What's one piece of advice that you have for people listening today?
Definitely just be self-compassionate, you know, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be your worst enemy. You know, you have to be your best friend, and you have to look after yourself, and you have to have love for the kind of person you are and the kinds of things that you do every day to get through life. So
Hmm.
self-compassion is huge.
Yeah. Beautiful. Amazing. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up here?
I just want to thank you for doing this kind of work. You're an absolute natural at what you do, and you always have such great advice, and the things you say make so much sense that even when I didn't believe those things, I believed you. And that really made a big difference for me. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Janine. It's been such a pleasure, and I'm so grateful that we got to connect and share your story here
Thank you.
today. As I said, like you're like this beacon of light in the group. I feel like you're like such an encourager, and it's like it's just so amazing to see that and to see how far you've come, and to continue to see where you go. Because like you said,
Yeah.
it's like, kind of like a new, you said the beginning of your life, but it could just be like, next another phase of your life or whatever it is
Right. Right.
for each person individually. But
That's right.
um I'm so glad that your sister recommended
Me
me,
too. Me too.
and I'm so grateful that things have worked out well for you.
Yes. Thank you. I'm grateful too.
Thank you so much for being here.
Okay. Take care.